what you say, 'cause we're in the same old place. And it pierces through my soul when you do that. Now I'm feeling kinda numb, and my heart is melting right now. How could someone that was so sweet be so sour? Baby, you know we've had our ups and downs. This time we're breaking down, and it's so sad. We need a break. Let's breathe some fresh air, 'cause it's all said and done. Baby, dead of night. You're a devil in disguise, I see right. Now walking out the door, as I've let my lesson right now. You don't deserve my sweet attention anymore, 'cause you used my trust. You chose the empty shell. Now I can tell that you don't care. Disguise is finally gone.
Dios no está. Everybody, welcome back to the Club with Lucas. What's up, everybody? If it's a couple of minutes past 11 o'clock, you know what time it is. I cannot see myself, but I think you can see me if you're watching on YouTube. I hope everybody can hear me. How is everybody doing today? It is actually 7 minutes now past 11 o'clock, and we are getting started today. In fact, we have so much to walk about. So welcome, everybody. Gather around, grab your favorite poison. I left my coffee. I left my coffee at the house, but it doesn't matter because you are here at 106.9 FM and here with the Club with Lucas, and it is time because I'm not going to be alone these next 2 hours. In fact, baby Jesus is with us. But apart from that, we've got, for the next 2 hours, some locally and Euro-based goodness coming your way. In fact, in just a second, just a few minutes, in fact, Harriet McCauley of InDance International and an incredible EU/Erasmus project is going to be here. It is BCN based, but it's internationally minded. We're going to be talking a lot about that because, as you know, I also work in education, and Lord mercy. So we're going to be talking about that as well because she is also a dancer and a choreographer, and we're going to be grooving all hour long. So remember, I want you to follow my lovely self at the Club with Lucas on Instagram. You can also follow us at TwitX at the Club with Lucas. And that's, the Club W Lucas. The tunes can also be found all over Catalonia at 106.9 FM and all over the world at rce.cat. And of course, you will find us at YouTube as well. That's at RCE 106.9 FM. Check us out with your peoples, y'all. There's so much to serve up to. There's a lot of music. There's a lot of music I want to get to. There's a lot of news before Harriet gets to that I want to talk to you about as well. Because guess what, everybody? It's the 4th of July. That's actually when my twin brother got married and eventually divorced. But we're having an international country's divorce today. It is about, I think, 102 degrees in Fahrenheit, which is 46, 7, something like that, in centigrade in Washington, D.C. today. So let's see how fun the July 4th kicks off. Thankfully, we have a smorgasbord of goodness serving up for you right now. And for the next 2 hours, that, by the way, that you just came into for the lead-in was Ati Soul. He is a beautiful friend to the show and the station and a local as well. That is Ati Soul's new track. You can check that out wherever good music is streamed. And that is called All in My Head. Let's jump into something else as well, because my personal savior, Madonna, released an album yesterday. And it is already receiving the best reviews of her career, at least in the millennium. So this is lovely. And she released a new Euro single last night as well with one of my favorite Belgian superstars, Stromae. Now, Madonna and Stromae have released this as of last night. It is a single called My Sins Are My Savior. Remember, all over Catalonia on 106.9, you're going to hear these jams live. If you're catching them with your peepholes, however, on YouTube, the music fades off. Don't freak out. We'll be right back with some news that you can use as well. This is Madonna and Stromae with My Sins Are My Savior. That little piano outro. And of course, it just continues. Again, when the Queen releases a record, you know we're going to talk about it here on The Club with Lucas. But I have to say, this new Confessions album by Madonna is the bomb.pinche.com. It's fabulous. So if you haven't heard it already, I don't think there could have been a better time for her to release this. On Independence Day, no less. It's the weekend of the United States' independence. In fact, it's the 250th celebration of the independence of the United States of America. Fun, youthful, fresh. It's not. And the ish is getting really real. But yesterday was also a major anniversary, and the release of that album by Madonna also marked the end of the Stonewall riots. Okay, 67 years ago, which led to, the, 67 years ago? No, less. Help me with math, children, 57, or 6. But it led to the civil rights of gays and lesbians across, well, much of the world, but certainly in the Occidental world. And that is a centerpiece of what we're about to speak about over the next few minutes before Lady Harriet McCauley joins us from InDance International. Now, the centerpiece of these celebrations in Washington, D.C. have encountered several logistical challenges. Let's just be real. Okay, today's the main event. But the main challenge they're facing is, between 45 and 50-degree weather. Pinch your nipples, children. Now, reports describe unusually high temperatures affecting preparations. Performance stages parts are collapsing during rehearsals, almost completely injuring people, but apparently they skated through without too much drama. Disputes are also surrounding the elements of the National Mall celebrations, whereas the North Carolina exhibit had a Confederate flag hanging there for the first day or two of this state fair, or the U.S. fair. Questions have also been raised about the abundance and the attendance, rather, of parts of the Great American State Fair, although the main program is still expected to proceed just later on in the day due to the high temperatures. Of course, more than 180 million Americans are under heat alert as this is happening, which is very interesting because North America, obviously, is always going to be hot. But apparently, there are only 3 places in the world that are hotter than Washington, D.C. right now. That is the Sahara Desert. I'm not kidding. And another desert in Africa and one in Asia. I can't remember the names right now. But 3 deserts are the only points in the world that are hotter than Washington, pinche D.C. Don't think that God doesn't have a humor, a sense of humor. President Donald Trump is scheduled to headline the Washington celebrations and also be traveling to and from Mount Rushmore as part of the nationwide commemorations. But guess what? He's flying on that $400 million revamped Air Force One that Qatar gave him. Remember that one? Remember the woman that was running the Attorney General as the head of the Department of Justice? In fact, just a little bit ago, her name was Pam Bondi. Did you know that she used to work to the tune of $150,000 a month as an intermediary for Qatar? Oh, you didn't? Well, now you know. Look it up. Now, regarding President Trump's health, there have been no major official announcements indicating any significant change. Just extra, padding and makeup on his hands. But this is following another week of horribly awry governmental activity. And meanwhile, Canada continues to monitor both trade relations with the United States and the ongoing effects of unusually warm summer weather across several provinces, while also being a very trusted member of the NATO alliance. Why is that happening? Because apparently, with the withdrawal of troops recently by Pete Hegseth of the Department of War in the United States of America from Poland, Putin, as of 36 hours ago, has been hinting at the intrusion into Poland by his Russian forces as they are taking on an onslaught by Ukraine. They have retaliated with another onslaught, and I just want everybody to remember that we're going into 5 years of this war. Back to the U.S. really quickly before we jump into something more delicious. Despite the logistical issues and the dangerous heat, officials say that Independence Day celebrations, 'cause we're proud to be an American. Brittany won't be singing. She's locked up. Celebrations are expected to continue nationwide, with organizers urging attendees to stay hydrated, children. They even have, and I'm not kidding, a dunking booth for baptisms. But they're using it so that old people don't faint and die. I am not kidding. Please look this up. They will be monitoring local weather advisories and handing out water, but you have to pay for it. And throughout the holiday weekend, this concludes our U.S. Roundup on July 4th. Mom, you said it was delicious. And it was. Let's jump into some music, though, because we have a queen jumping into us, and we're going to be talking about something that is actually what should be the basis of all countries' national efforts. So let's get to that. In fact, we have one more song to throw your way, loves, and that is a little bit of R&B groove by a little outfit coming out of the U.S. called Groove Era. You've never heard of them? I had until this week as well, and they're lovely. This is Waiting by the Phone, so wait by the radio dial, 106.9 FM. Remember, folks, you can catch the jams live at 106.9 FM and rce.cat. Meow. And if you hear them on YouTube, put on rce.cat, because they might fade off on YouTube. This is Waiting by the Phone by Groove Era. We'll be right back with Lady Harriet McCauley.
Yo.
What? Excuse me. Oh my God, that was waiting by the phone. But my demons are waiting there too. You see, we're connected, everybody. Welcome, everybody, back to the club with Lucas. But alas, I am thankfully not alone because. Good day, Lady Harriet. Thank you so much for being here. In fact, Lady McCauley's here. She's representing InDance International as well as an EU project that's going on in conjunction with Erasmus. And it is focusing on too many things that the current administration of too many countries are not doing. So thank you so much for being here at the Club with Lucas. It's been a hot minute now because years ago, and my beautiful tech is asking you to please speak into the mic when you need to speak. Oh, my. This is how we do it, yo. Thank you so much for being here because years ago, I used to be in sub, then an alternate, and then I co-hosted with lovely last name Lucy. And we had you on when we had just started, maybe in 2018, I want to say.
It was so way back with Carmette from the Pussycat Dolls.
That's right. So, folks, now you know I've also interviewed the Pussycat Dolls.
You have?
It's a full thing.
You have?
And I love you. Tony Award-winning Pussycat Dolls because Nicole's cousins are as a Tony winner, y'all. Shit. Did you know that?
No, actually, I didn't.
She won a Tony this past year. But thank you for being here because,
Okay.
I mean, 8 years later, we are thinner, younger, and more gorgeous. And yet at the same time, you're doing a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about this. But firstly, how are you and whereabouts do you hail from, love?
Well, right now I'm feeling good. Navigating the performing arts, but I'm feeling good.
That's right. And it truly is a navigation.
It is, and there's no audience. There's no directions. You just go. And I've been in Barcelona quite a while now. It's my home. I love being here. I love the culture. I love the friends that I have. That's right. And it's an extraordinary experience. It's changed me in many ways, leaving the UK and being here for so long. And
such a crux of a time as well, because it was during Brexit.
You
were already formatting those processes. Diversely, your career has been very diverse. We're talking choreographer, director, performer, dancer. Take us back to the beginning. Well, when did you have that bite?
To be honest, it never really happens in the way you expect. I never knew I could actually bite into dance in any capacity. It was the professors that I had that said, "Wow, you could actually do this, Harriet." And I think if we're talking about kind of, okay, what made you want to pursue it for so long? It became almost ingrained in me. It's like having, if I didn't work within the arts, within dance specifically, it's like losing a limb. That's how ingrained I think it's been in me. And what triggered it? I think when one is an artist, there's a lot going on in your house. You need a place to express yourself, feelings, memories, anger, hope, love, neglect, lack of confidence, self-esteem. And I think dance, for me, is an outlet, and it always has been.
Do you feel like your mom or your parents gave you that as well, the ability?
Exactly. I mean, it does come from the home. And there are transferable skills that one gains through dance, which you would never gain in any other art form. You use your body. That's right.
It's a liberation.
Exactly. So it's not so much just the physical. There's a spiritual element to it, and also the psychological element to it. It's healing.
So this is off topic from the questions I sent whenever ago. days and days ago, children, please. This week has been easy. And speaking of children.
Oh.
I feel like the younger ones, maybe under 25, do not. I mean, obviously, we will always have girls and some boys in dance. Yeah. But they don't go to the club to dance. They don't go to liberate and express the way a lot of people who maybe had 90s, 80s, 2000s culture, up into the pandemic, really, to the 2010s, even, of what dancing expression of festivals, of dance festivals, of clubs, of dance night clubs out, It's holding up the wall.
You see.
So that expression maybe for a plurality of younger millennials, certainly Gen Z and pandemials, is very, it's crushing. It's daunting in a way. And because you just said that, and made me think of the uni students that I know, and they all, at least the boys, they say, well, I don't dance.
Yeah. I mean, you're correct. I mean, now is a different time in 2026. The approach to the arts has changed as a result of technology. But I think there are aspects of kind of expressing yourself physically that there are things that you gain that you can't gain in anything else.
How do we get boys to do that?
I think it's not so much the kind of the doing, it's the knowledge of what it can bring. You know? Yeah. And I think, I grew up, my community actually had a lot of boys. In fact, the boys were powerhouses, you know? Yeah, they're powerhouses. And they're like, right, you know, I'm going to gain flexibility. I'm going to get my leg right up here because I need that access to move in this way, you know? I think it's more about knowledge. And I think when one can really see a representation of, like, another guy doing it, that changes everything. Because it's a mix. It's not so much even just... I use technique as an example, but hip hop, breaking, locking, commercial dance, that's, for me, that's the bedrock of dance. It's the improvisation.
And growing up, certainly you're a bit younger than me, but remember the dance movies, Aporto, I mean, Bring It On. This was the whole thing. I remember when we would go clubbing by 16, you know, in New York and Mexico and Austin. When I would be dancing, then other boys would come, other guys would come. If they just see one, they will gravitate towards that because it is an expression. It's a look, you know, it breaks down barriers.
It does.
Which you've had to deal with all your mother in life. Now, I do feel coming from a place like the UK, like London as well, there's a great dance music atmosphere to parts of what some of the music that the UK has created.
Yeah.
Dance music is, for me, one of the best epicenters comes from London.
Yeah.
Drugs have nothing to do with it. Lines outside means lines inside, children. But you're African too.
I am, yeah.
So,
and
with Indian, I mean, you got a little bit of raga in you as well.
I have.
So that amalgamation of must be something as well.
It is. I mean, I think, you know what? Being born in the UK, but deriving obviously my parents from the Caribbean, Indian connections, and now living in Barcelona, again, another identity. It builds layers of creativity that one can only experience through the doing.
Amen.
And that's what's happened. Like
layers,
you know, layers, and the layers are the creative act. I mean, creativity is not so much just the act of showing; it's living it. And, you know, when you ask me about why do you do what you do, I live it. It is me, you know, and that I think, you know, propelled me to keep going. It is me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One quick question before we go on. You are also an apex representation of representation. And so,
yes,
for little ones too, because again, I deal not with little ones, but certainly 17 and 30-year-olds, I deal with a lot of them. When we talk about that type of representation for young performers, to see mentors, to see other dancers, to see other writers, creatives, how important do you think it is for that to see them reflecting their own culture, their own background? Because let's be real. Like, for example, quick statistic. Latinos make up nearly 23% of the United States, but in every network, they make up 0.6 to 6% of all representation. 0.6% to 6% in a country where 75 million people, more than no other country except Mexico has more Spanish speakers, and yet we'll give you 1%. So how important do you think that is for younger ones?
I think representation in any form is really important because what it does, it draws kind of a landscape of understanding that you are accepted and you can be treated equally. If you get to the word equality, that's a big word. But having said that, I'm going to use it in this way. I think that representation has to happen in order for people to be productive, connected, and and also with the performing arts, if it doesn't happen, we don't have great art. Art for me is a cultural representation of many, many things. And without those cultural influences, what have you got? It's bland. It's bland.
Also, why do you want all the tech if you're not going to be representing content that is created art?
Yes.
Hopefully, we're not just becoming, and I think that's one of the things that are making people sick, is everything used to be about more of the going out to experience and connect, not just making a video about something that's really not connecting, but I'm throwing it to hundreds or thousands of people.
Yeah.
So, speaking of proper representation, we're going to throw in a little bit of music. We always ask our beautiful guests to choose some music for us, and one of the tracks that you chose is Mr. M to the O-R-L, Mr. Morale by Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, that's an inspiration.
Why did you choose this one, please?
Well, I think in our community, growing up, we have a lot of things that take place. And I think that as an artist, Kendrick Lamar was able to, in an extremely creative way, talk about the darker sides of the community. And also to draw kind of a line between, okay, how do we overcome that? How do we become more than just what we've experienced? And I think this track is phenomenal. I mean,
And
I'm a
the
big fan of
intro.
Kendrick.
Moms, dads, cover your kids' ears for the intro. But it is phenomenal. Kendrick, I mean, he came up here and blew the waters out. Some of my uni students went to see, and they were just like, this, one of my business guys, shout out Carlos Castro. All right, this is Kendrick on Mr. Morale. Remember, you can catch the gems live all over Catalunya on 106.9 FM and RCE.cat. And on YouTube, no, but put it on RCE.cat. We'll be right back with Lady Harriet and McCauley of InDance International.
It was one of the worst performances.
Keep moving your shoulders, y'all, because that's what it's for. That was Kendrick Lamar and Mr. Morale. Let's continue here. Now, you're involved with InDance International now, as well as an Equal Arts Erasmus project. Can you explain a little bit of that, please? What is this about?
Yeah, well, first of all, InDance International is a program specifically for young dancers, pre-professional dancers, who want to pursue a period whereby they can get to perform, maintain their technique or improve their technique if they need to, and also have a creative outlet in Barcelona. And the program provides 1 year program focused specifically on daily classes into, making video content, performing in different parts of Europe. So that's kind of the program itself. And I'm one of the co-directors of InDance International. We have a board of directors, and my role is artistic mainly. Having said that, Equal Arts is an activity supported by Erasmus, okay? Our national agency, SEPI, also support the project. Brilliant. And the Equal Arts is designed specifically to address the barriers that women face every day. And I actually face every day. Yeah. So it's actually kind of, it derived as a result of my lived experience. And that's how we designed the activity in the project. And the project has, it began in 2024, it began. Okay. And now it's 2026. We're coming up to a period where it's expanding. We've gained new partners, yes. And also, there's more awareness of how we can support women that are seeking to work within the performing arts.
In fact, what are some of the not techniques, but events and things that you guys have created for this? And then what is it specifically referencing for some of these barriers that women? I want the audience to hear about that.
Yeah. So at the moment, we have what we call the micro-learning course content, which is an online training platform, which is kind of snippets of individuals from different parts of Spain who talk about first-hand experiences as a woman or from the LGBT community. At the moment, we've interviewed Jenny, who runs a Máquina company in Malaga. And she's phenomenal. She's been working for 30 years as an individual running her own organization. So the online platform addresses issues like burnout, for example. How do you manage burnout? How do you manage barriers, for example, when you're in a room of individual and obviously, normally it's men.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you navigate that? How do you maintain what we call a sense of place, so you don't feel like you're out of place? Where do you pocket all your insecurities? Where does that go? And it's kind of, there are soft skills, obviously, like I've just spoken about, but there's also the hard truth. How can you kind of convey that you have the ability to make decisions? That you're not a woman that just kind of is good at taking instructions.
And that ends up breeding, I have seen, certainly recently, a lot of friction with certain men in the room. And so I presume that part of this Erasmus project, so obviously we're focusing on young people who are in university as well, younger people, younger adults, to teach them the skills of how to maneuver through these situations.
Yeah.
How would dance be incorporated into that?
Well, I think dance, as I said, it's the artistry of the body. So we're using the body.
Yeah.
You can't, it's not an out-of-body experience.
Okay.
You're in your body when you're dancing.
It can be.
But what I'm talking about is when we look at it, when we see it and we experience it, it's something we see visually, like a piece of art. So in that respect, this project in Erasmus addresses some of the key issues, which are how do we balance leadership within the performing arts for dance? How do we convey a true representation of what's needed in order for individuals like me, from my community, to feel accepted, to feel that they can pursue that line of work and not to feel like, well, that company's not going to take me because of the color of my skin, or that company's not going to take me because I don't fit in. You understand? Amen. So this is kind of integral. Equality, like I said, is a big word. But for me as the director, I believe it is a place whereby we address the imbalance. And it's not going to happen overnight, but these small initiatives ignite a little bit of an awareness, and that grows. It might not happen in my lifetime, but it triggers something.
Barring a miracle, love,
Yeah.
it might.
It might.
Speaking of miracles, that is another song that Harriet McCauley chose. In fact, we will never forget was it the VH1 Divas performance of when they were out handing each other. Oh, God, I love it. From the Prince of Egypt, this is Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, The Voices. And this is There Can Be Miracles. And we'll be right back. Remember, you can catch the Gems live on 106.9 here in Catalonia and all over the world on rce.cat.
Many nights we prayed with no proof anyone could hear. In our hearts a hopeful song we barely understood. Now we are not afraid.
Oh, okay, y'all. Let's give it up to the audience, y'all. Who did it better? Who did it better? Thank you, Beyonce and the girls for keeping. That's Whitney at the 2001 BET Awards. Look it up. Oh, God. She was not cracked out. But that was there can be miracles. And sometimes it feels like when we're dealing with equality, diversity, inclusion, things, parity for women, it's going to take a miracle. You know, last year, at the beginning of 2025, the European Union came out with a study that they had done for years since they had nothing else to do during the pandemic. And they said that it will take approximately another 200 years for women to have full legal parity with men, but another century after that for payment parity. So when you said before the song, not in my lifetime, it's very likely not. And so when we look to, I believe the children are our future. Now, we're not getting away from Whitney or Madonna today, everybody. What do you, I mean, it's because Equal Arts brings everybody from all, InDance International does as well, international, from all backgrounds and races and nationalities. And what do you want people to be, like, what do you want to impart to people through the project, but also through InDance International, through your own performances?
Yeah, I mean, you know, as a director, you have lots of aspirations, you know, and I could use lots of single words, but I think being authentic within the organization is really important. Not trying to create something that is not fake, but it doesn't allow people to enter the school and come out with something entirely new that they never knew about themselves. So when I use the word authentic, what I mean is that they come in and they discover, explore, they have a curiosity. And I think for me, InDance aims to create an opening, a space. And, you know, I spoke about drawing the line. These lines are needed to create spaces for individuals to discover, and in a community that is entirely diverse, where we're not using one language.
Or even one dance style.
No, we're speaking Catalan, Spanish, French, we're speaking English, we're speaking all these languages together, and yet we're all in the same space.
That's right.
Exploring exactly the thing we love. So this is what I think the program is about. You know, it's an open door. You don't have to fit in. You don't have to look a particular way. You don't have to dress a particular way and be moving in a particular way to fit into the dance. You can be whoever you are. And my role, is to ensure that we have a support network that allows for you to grow. And, you know, it's not an easy thing to ascertain. You know, it's not, I'm not going to say it's easy, but that is something I feel is important to me, that it is just a breathing ground. Totally. A breathing ground for creativity that has no doors.
I just heard the words in my soul, breathing and breeding ground.
It's like,
sorry,
and I'm using terms from dance.
And I think that, well, since we all, I mean, I've always said music, dance, cinema, those are international universal languages. So utilizing that to break down those barriers is something that, in a way, dance has always been doing. Yeah,
I think if we look back even to some key moments in history, we will notice that the art has always been very fundamental to change. It has. Whether it's political, whether it's economical, whether it's about gender balance, gender identity, all these things come from within the art, whether we're dealing with androgyny or representation of the type of shape, body. You know, all these things are in the art, and art is a voice. It's a way of expressing exactly who you are. It's a loud voice,
And one of the things that InDance International does through the Equal Arts Project, but also through Erasmus Project that they're working on, is give a platform to that voice. If you want to be part of that platform, remember, we're right here in Barcelona, InDance International. Look it up. You can get a view of the land of everything that they offer, as well as the services that are provided through the Equal Arts Project. If there was one performer from an underrepresented, here's that last question, background, and they're listening this morning and dreaming of a career in the arts, what is that a piece of advice that you would like for them to hear, maybe that you had wanted to hear when you were 13, 15, 16?
Oh. I think what is important when you're pursuing the arts is to remain, and I'm going to say, remain your true self. Do not try to change yourself to fit in or to be moving in a particular way like somebody else. Find your own voice.
Which means you have to know yourself.
You do, and it takes time. Be influenced, collaborate, read about the art form, because you know, and remember that you're not breaking entirely new ground. The ground's already laid. You've just got to now find your voice.
Amen.
and find your way. And I think for me, that's been my process.
Yes.
There are many women that have come before me of color that have laid the ground, and that's why I exist.
Like Janet Jackson, we were just talking about that. But this is the thing. One of the things that has laid the groundwork is that it's already here for you. So for my Spaniards and Catalans here in Barcelona, InDance International, Lady Harriet McCauley, that is McCauley. And this is also the Equal Arts Erasmus Project. So I want you to look that up as well. Thank you so much for being here. We've got stuff to do, people to talk about, people to interview as well in the months to come.
Yes.
Folks, this is what we do, but also there's another song. You chose one more song. We're going to throw it up in here. We're going to throw it up in here. And folks, you know what we do over here every same bat time and channel between 11 and 1 every Saturday here at RCE and for Barcelona and Catalonia and all over the world. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and not just the album, this song, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, is what we're going to outro with here. Why this one before we leave?
Like I said, it takes time to find your voice, and often your education is not supporting the voice that you need.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to go through it and come out the other end to see it.
Yeah.
And I think part of my childhood was a little bit of a miseducation. It wasn't a celebration of my cultural identity and who I am. It was more of a, it was a washing away of everything that is a part of my lineage, my family, my heritage. You know, being a black woman that comes from Indian, African, and
Caribbean,
a lot of cultures, to me, got washed away a bit. And I think, you know, this song represents for me that miseducation and re-identifying with exactly who I am and accepting that and loving that and celebrating it.
That's a perfect way to outro. Celebrate yourself. Remember, okay, everybody here is a star. So remember to love yourself, because nobody else is going to love yourself. And educate yourself. Please read. That's something she just said 3 or 4 minutes ago. Please read, folks. We love you. You are loved. We will see you right back here for an award-winning actress streaming in from Scandinavia. This is Lauryn Hill and the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That was Lady Harriet McCauley and InDance International. Look it up. We'll be right back. Bye, everybody.